Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What Else. Today, we're joined by three amazing people. Our first guest is one of the busiest admin officials in MSUIIT, being the dean of one of the most active colleges in the university. Beyond this, to her family and closest friends, she is very family oriented, extremely generous, and has a heart for cats. Let us welcome Cass Dean, Ma'am Rohane Derogongan. Hello, Ma'am. It's nice having you here. We're also joined by Ma'am Sittie Pasandalan, a woman whose love for MSUIIT manifests in the kind of work ethics she has shown through the years, not only as a faculty member of the English department, but also as the Assistant Dean of the College of Arts and Social Sciences. Hello, ma'am. It's nice having you here.
Hello, Dwayne.
Last but not the least, we also with them is CAS Executive Council Governor Adin Jhon Ligsanan, a third-year BA Political Science student who's one of the driving forces that motivates the student of CAS to do what they love and to strive hard in achieving their goals. He is also an SK Councilor of Barangay Taglatawan, Bayugan City, Agusan del Sur. Hello, Gov. It's nice having you here.
Hi, Dwayne. Good evening. Glad to be here. Ma'am Rohane, good evening. Ma'am Sittie, good evening.
Okay, so I just want to ask, how is everyone doing in this quarantine now that we are all secluded in our houses? How are you feeling, or what are your thoughts today?
This very moment, stress
Yes.
ako.
Any new habits that you have developed, ma'am? Any old habits that you have discovered again, like
The habit of sitting down and facing the, what they call this one, the so-called laptop. At 8 o'clock, I'm used to be sleeping at around 8 o'clock.
so na-change talaga yung sleeping
Yes.
patterns, ma'am. How about Ma'am Sittie? How have you been doing, ma'am?
Um, Coping with how things are. In my case, I have been working from home for more than 2 months already, I think. So, latest habit, probably a habit I went back to, is binge watching a lot of movies or series. Before, I would start reading so I can sleep. Now, I binge watch series, not in English, but Chinese, Thai, Japanese, so that I can fall asleep.
Ah, you fall asleep, ma'am, if you watch those movies?
Something about the tone of their speaking.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
and because I don't really understand it, right? Because I have to read the subtitles. So it would
Yes.
seem as if that their voices are lulling me to sleep.
And then you're very relatable to a lot of millennials nowadays, ma'am, na you binge watch series. So that's good to hear. How about you, Gov Adin? What has been keeping you busy?
Well, unlike Ma'am Sittie, I'm not much of a binge watcher regarding a series. But I also appreciate a lot of things, especially reigniting my passion for gardening and planting. It has been my hobby since the quarantine. So, yun.
Yeah, I've seen all those plants, Gov, and it's really amazing how you let those grow. Parang gumagawa ka na ng farm. Is there a hidden meaning to that? Magfa-farm ka na ba, Gov?
Well, it's actually my dream to farm. Like
Mm.
it's peaceful. You can see a lot of wildlife. I mean, natural things around you, and the idea of planting is very therapeutic for me.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm sure that a lot of us has already found this love for plants. Ang naming plantitas and plantitos and plant moms and lahat na siguro naging family tree na tayong lahat. So it's good that you also find comfort in this goal. So with this things that are going on around us, I'm sure we have all realized that life is very unsure. You don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what's in store for you the morning you wake up. So have you envisioned yourself where you are right now? Have you envisioned yourself as a teacher, the cast dean, the assistant dean, a governor? Member Hani, what can you say about this?
Yeah, what do you call this one? I actually did not. To
Hmm.
be honest, yes. I did not even plan or dream of becoming a teacher. Had I, if that would have been, then I should have enrolled in a Bachelor of Science in Education, but I did not. It
Mm.
was, yes, it was in 1987 then when I enrolled in the AB Political Science to satisfy my father's dream of me of becoming a lawyer. But
Mm-hmm.
after the semester, I moved to AB History and hindi niya alam that I was already changing my, and then what I retained only is my ID. So he continued to believe that I am graduating AB Political Science because everybody believed it was good for me to become a lawyer. Then I finished AB History, then I proceed Bachelor of Laws, and then in 1993, there was this urgent need of the Department of History. So I applied, and that
Mm.
was also the year when I got married. So there was some sort of, it's my need, it's also the need of the Department of History. But I still enrolled in the College of Law. In fact, I finished it in 1996. I graduated my Bachelor of Laws in 1996.
Wow. Ma'am,
Yeah.
did your father knew ever that you did not finish AB Poli at all?
After when I graduated, because it was made known to everybody that I was during, I think, the Institute Council. It was discussed very well. It was actually discussed there because there was this professor who commented on my grade that one professor gave me a grade of 2.75, and it was
Mm-mm.
unbelievable daw, according to that professor who supported me siguro, because I have all straight one. Then all of a
Mm-mm.
sudden, I have this 275 grade. So meaning to say, modesty aside, GPA kumonte. Then I was supposed, sabi nila, for Summa, then nahulog siya ng Magna. Then they said na we could have produced the first Summa, but now we are producing the first Magna. So then it was spelled out already that my degree was AB History. All of a sudden, my father thought it was AB Pulim. Nevertheless, it's already bridged under, I mean, already done. So I finished the degree AB History.
Wow, that's very exciting. What a very exciting college life, ma'am.
Yes, then I continued to dream as to become a lawyer. It was
Mm-hmm.
only in 2005 that I stopped dreaming of becoming when I failed in the bar exam. During that bar exam, I actually asked God, if it will be good to me, then give it to me. Then if it will not be good to me, to my community, to my faith, then do not made me a lawyer. So
Mm.
nabagsak ako. I failed in the bar. It was in 2011 that I changed paradigm, meaning to say, from dreaming of becoming a lawyer, I decided finally to proceed the doctoral degree. And then I finished in 2014 for 3 years after. So for now, 27 years I've been teaching.
Oh,
For
wow.
27 years in the campus IIT, I've been teaching. I enjoy teaching a lot. I love sharing all my takeaways about history. And I love to share lessons, all the lessons I learned. I love exchanges with my students. And we try to understand everything about history. We both learn from each other. Actually, I'm not even the one teaching them. They are also the one teaching me. And
Mm.
the most important thing in becoming a teacher, meaning when finally I accepted as teacher na talaga, hindi na ako pwedeng maging lawyer. The
Yes,
most
ma'am.
important thing is whenever my students called me, instead of mom, they called me mama. almost.
Oh, oh, that's
So
nice.
it's some kind of what do you call this one? It's really it's some kind of a fulfillment. Teacher na, mother ka
Exactly.
pa.
Yes,
So
exactly.
yes.
Oh. Thank you so much, Ma. How about on City? How did you envision yourself here in where you are right now?
Did I envision myself where I am right
Yeah, as
now,
the assistant cast
assistant
dean.
dean, teaching and all? When Ma'am Rohani was talking a while ago about her enrolling into political science because the family dreams of her being a lawyer, at the back of my mind, I wanted to ask the question, what's with pol sci? I also enrolled in political science for a year. That was my first course in IIT. And then after my first year, my advisor advised me to shift
Oh, why man, ma'am?
because she gave me my advisor. I'm not going to mention the professor. She already retired. She gave me a grade of 3.0 for Pol Sci 50. That's Introduction to Political Science. And she told me that per her assessment, my heart is not into political science. She said that she was able to say that because it's either I would come in late or absent in her class. And then I also pointed out, Ma'am, even if I'm late and absent in your class, I think I have been performing well. The very fact that you exempted me from the final exam. But nevertheless, since my grade is 3.0 and Pol Sci is very strict when it comes to retaining certain grades, so she advised me to shift. So then I transferred or shifted to the Department of English, which at first did not also want to accept me because my English 4 subject, Introduction to
Wow.
Literature, my teacher also gave me a grade of 3.0. And that's totally a no-no. And then the advisor, Professor Abonales, then asked me, who is your English 4 teacher? And then I pointed out that my English 4 teacher is Professor Reynes, and Professor Reynes was around the department at that time. And then the advisor asked me, why is your grade 3.0? And I also pointed out, I also do not understand, ma'am, why my grade is 3.0, considering that I'm also exempted from the final exam. My paper is graded 1.25, and all my quizzes are very, very good. So Professor Abunales asked Ma'am Reynes why my grade is 3.0, and the reason was it's also because either I come in late or absent in class. So then we had a compromise, sort of a compromise. Ma'am Abunales told me, okay, because only my English 4 at that time was 3.0. All the others were 1.75 and 2.0, I think, for my English 2. Ma'am Tetet said, we are going to accept you, but you have to come up with a promissory note or something. You really have to promise that your next English subject is going to be 1.25 or better. And I readily said, yes, ma'am, I will do it. So on that semester, I got 1.25 in my English subjects. And that was a go na, yeah, meaning to say, this is for me. It was a little long to accept for the family.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
but nevertheless, it's just fortunate that I have an aunt who explained to my mother, because it was my mother who could not accept that I transferred from Pol Sci to English, explained to my mother that finishing an AB English degree is still a very good point if I am to proceed to law school, because I would need language. I would need the capacity or the capability to play with language, because language is very, very important when it comes to law. So then my mom was more or less settled on that. However, on my second semester, actually last semester in college, I realized that I wanted to be a teacher. It was November. Back then, second semesters would start in November. It was in November. It was because of a grade 5 student,
mm.
Ma'am Tess Villabona, no, forced me, quote unquote, to tutor a grade 5 student. And then I said, okay, I will tutor that grade 5 student. But then that grade 5 student made me realize that I wanted to be a teacher. So it was totally at 360 degrees for me The following day, I went back to the department and talked to the department chairperson and asked permission if I could withdraw some of my subjects in English so I can take some subjects in education. And then the question of Professor Ortega, who was the chairperson then, was, who do you want to teach? Elementary, high school, or college? And I was like, I don't think I would be able to handle teaching elementary students for a very long time. It's very, very taxing. So I said college. And then Mom Christine said, if you want to teach in college, you do not need an education degree. You need to get a master's degree. So I continued with my program in English because I was already decided then that I'm going to go and shift to education. So I continued, and then after graduating from AB English, I still enrolled in law school for about a year. On my second semester in law school, there's this pool of, still wanting to teach. So I said, I have to give it a try. So on the same time that I'm enrolled on my second semester in law school, I also enrolled in a master's program of the department. I had 5 subjects in law school, and then I had about 3 subjects in master's. But of my 5 subjects in law school, I only attended just 1 class, obligation and contracts, because I find the subject interesting. All other subjects, I dropped it. I mean, I did not attend it, but I have been attending all my master's classes. And whenever my classmates in law school would see me, and then they would say, what are you doing there? Why are you not inside our classroom? And I said, no, I'm just sitting inside this classroom. So that's it. How did I imagine myself being the assistant dean of the College of Arts and Social Sciences? No, I did not. I can still vividly recall the time that then the department chairperson of English was Professor Perganan. She texted me and said, Dean Clar would like to talk to you. Dean Clar was the outgoing dean at that time. She said that Dean Clar would like to see you if you can visit her office tomorrow. And I said, okay, I will visit her office tomorrow. I totally did not know what was the reason why the dean asked me to be there. So when I went to the office, the dean said, I think Mom Claire just asked me 2 questions. One question was, what are your plans? Do you have plans of pursuing PhD? And I said, yes, Mom, I have plans of pursuing my PhD. Whether IIT is going to send me or I would be sending myself, meaning, funding my own education. I said, I will pursue my PhD. And then her next plan is, her next question rather was, do you plan to stay with IIT long? And I said, yeah, I can imagine myself being with IIT. And then the third question is, okay, are you willing to take on the role of assistant dean? And then that was totally out of the blue for me. And I responded with, why me? And her question was, why not you? And I said, ma'am, there are others who are actually more capable than I am. There are senior faculty members in the college and even from the department. So she also explained her reasoning. And then what convinced me really was when she said that the staff of the office said that they would want me to be the assistant dean. And considering that I don't have much engagement with the staff of the office of the dean, I mean, I could count the number of times that I went inside the office of the dean when I was not yet the assistant dean. So that actually convinced me. And I said, okay, I will accept the role now. And then that was it. That was the beginning of history. And I'm still here. I find the work happy. It's actually challenging for me. Yeah, probably that's one reason why I'm still here, because I find it challenging.
Napaka-roller coaster para lang journey mo, Ma'am Sittie. How about you, Gov Adin? Did you envision yourself as being the governor of CAS?
Well, to say it's a very, very interesting yet very short story. So actually, I was not then Governor JP's choice as running governor because there were 2 of us as candidates vying for the position. However, I decided to counsel with Gov JP regarding the position, and he said I'm better suited for the legislative matters, being the vice governor. So I accepted the position. But however, there were conflicts with the supposedly said running governor. So that's why I have to take the responsibility and run as governor myself. So it's a lot of things, especially with my history as a student. But far as a student leader, no. During my better part of my high school life, actually, I was heavily involved in journalism. I
Mm-mm.
was part of a specialized academic track during my junior high school life. I was enrolled in SPJ. It stands
Yeah.
for Special Program in Journalism. I
Yes.
participated in photojournalism, which bagged me my first NSPC then. Then shifted to broadcasting and TV broadcasting in 2016, which was my last NSPC, my second and last NSPC. But I never really had an answer to the question why I chose to be a student leader. For sure, it didn't happen over time. It was gradual, but
Mm-mm.
I really never had a concrete answer to why I chose to be a student leader. Maybe, I think, this is for me, it's like asking a question why he or she is in love, right?
Mm.
There's no concrete answer.
Oh. Mm-mm.
You're not given a concrete answer. Ask anyone in a relationship, ask him or her, why are you in love with that person? And you either talk about her or his character, his or her face, his or her beauty. Doesn't matter because the person you're trying to ask will always say, I don't know. It's something about her. And I think, like I said, no, Ma'am Sittie and Ma'am Rohane didn't plan all of this. And we all love the position or where we are now. And to ask
Mm.
us why we're here, we still don't know the answer, right? Because
Yes.
nothing is planned. All of these things are born out of either recklessness or careful planning or just excitement or the seek for adventure. And for me, the answer, I'm still looking for that answer. But the question still looms because I know every day will be a challenge. And every day is unprecedented. Every day is something to be happy of, and we need to be productive every day to make best out of it. So yun.
Well, this is certainly a wake up call to a lot of people who had their plans already ahead of them. Now that we have all been tossed into a food processor and twisted us all around, and we were faced with things that are not familiar with us, that are new to every one of us. And this includes also the shift in our academic aspect of our lives. Is there any particular difficulty that you have encountered, or what are the struggles that you had in coping with this new normal, especially in the academic field?
You have it just a while ago. What they call this one? Very obvious. I really have struggles because I'm a laggard. I really call myself a laggard. I don't find computers to be interesting. Gadgets, yeah, they do not amaze me. And I'm slow in learning the complexities of this kind of technology. Uh, I love to do other things, but not sitting down and then browse the internet and do all this tickling there. And more with the online learning mode, I must admit I am really an ignorant on those things, illiterate. And one more thing, I refuse trainings. There were trainings supposed trainings conducted by the institute for us to be able to cope up with the so-called the learning mode. But I refuse to. I must admit, I would like to learn at my own pace. Yan ako. Hindi ko alam. And I take things one at a time. And having exposed to or having opened the Google Drive, upon being dictated by Bulkia, this is how you are going to do it. It's already a milestone to me, and I really celebrate. City also knows this, that whenever what they call this one, I have an achievement of opening something like this. tonight I have a lot of things discovered, and I consider it as a milestone. So I am very thankful that I have people around me willing to help. There's City, there's Wilkia, then I can always call, tell me how to do it, and I will learn at my own pace, and then don't worry. So to answer the question whether I have struggle, actually I do not struggle na talagang yung ako ang nagsa-struggle. Ang nagte-train sa akin ang nag-struggle, I
Well,
suppose.
I'm sure a lot of people could relate. A lot of teachers could relate to this, ma'am. So I think you're not alone. How about you, Ma'am City? Any struggles, especially when it comes to the enrollment? Because I think we had to have online applications and such, and I know that it's pretty hard. So what has been your steps in on doing this?
Um, During the enrollment, let me see. It was a good thing that we learned about remote access.
Mm-hmm.
So during the enrollment, what we did was, because the CAS advisor said that they are not going to use MICA, that they are going to use the traditional way of enrolling student using the ESMS. So since
Mm-hmm.
they are all over Iligan City and some are even in their respective provinces, I thought of mechanisms to ensure that they would still be able to access computers in the office, no? Because the difference with MICA and ESMS basically is that MICA, you could use that one, you could access that one as long as you have connection to the internet. But with the ESMS, it has to be the local area network. You can only access that inside MSU IIT. So what I did was, there are like about 6 PCs in the office, because the staff are not also reporting for work; they're also working from home. So I installed AnyDesk in the 6 computers, and then I created a chat group on Facebook for all the program advisors. I made recordings of instructions on how they are going to enroll students, and so on and so forth. And then whenever there are problems, we're always there to assist them. And that is also how I have been assisting in the enrollment and even in some office matters, now that I am working from home. When it comes to my teaching, it's a struggle because, like, I think you are one of my students in local
Yes,
language.
ma'am.
Yeah. Back then, like, prep time for me is just 5 minutes and I can go and discuss in 1 hour. But now that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have this new modality that I have to create videos and all, it took me a lot of time. It was so much effort to put together for me the first video I uploaded in the classroom, wherein I even have there, because I wanted to have a recording of also myself talking, because I'm thinking that maybe not all of you would know me. So I said I have to show
Mm.
my students who I am. So it was such a struggle. Like, I'd record myself, and then, like, I'm also directing myself, and I'd tell myself, okay, cut, that's not a good recording. Do it again. And then I realized this is so crazy. So I stopped recording, and then I made my own script. Yeah, I made my own script, what I'm going to say for every slide, what would my pauses be. And I said, oh. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it's tasking, it's challenging, but it's, as what Ma'am Rohani pointed out a while ago, it's also a learning process. That's one thing that we could all be thankful for in some way, that this pandemic brought on a lot of challenges for us and we are able to overcome it. So I think that, I mean, whatever is out there, whatever or wherever this situation would take us, we are more or less going to be better equipped to deal with it.
Well, you did a good job on your first video, ma'am. Congratulations on that. How about you, Gov Adin?
Well, no one is remotely prepared for the outcome of this pandemic, and I bet it's safe to say that all of us have struggled during these trying times, one thing or two. And I really hope that we can strengthen ourselves to face the challenges ahead. But as of me personally, as a student, I too have struggles in terms of my academic life, especially with changing study habits. Like
Mm-mm.
you're faced with a lot of distractions around you. You're tempted to go to bed super early or super late or sleep super late. yet
Mm-hmm.
you don't have any productivity whatsoever, and you're changing your lifestyle. And one thing I really miss about the traditional learning platform is the interaction and support of classmates. I know it's very
Exactly.
cliche, but though you
Mm-mm.
have your family, but as an individual, we're not we're not so open with my family. I think there are a lot of Adins like me who are not open to toward their family, and the
Exactly.
support of classmates, the support of friends, especially during exams, academic struggles. Uh, that's what I miss, and I think it's safe also to assume that our teachers, our professors, miss that feeling also of interacting with their students personally, personal response coming from the students. Uh, those are the times that we miss. And though this is a struggle for both student and faculty of IIT, we are very fortunate that the IIT admin is very supportive, responsive for the cause and concerns of the students, especially our college, a College of Arts and Social Sciences. Uh, Kasama, on the other hand, is also preparing a lot of things for the students. And there are things also that we have to discuss regarding student welfare and concern. And Kasama is on point of addressing this concern along with the IIT admin.
Thank you so much, Gov. I can really say that we all had the same feelings, especially the interaction part. It kind of takes away the stress of school when you have kind of like someone who's suffering the same thing, and we're like, well, at least I'm not alone. But this time we have to do these things alone, so it's really different. So I think that's what we miss the most. Do you have any other inputs, Mom City?
Yeah, Adin is right. We still have human interaction because the technology nowadays have ensured that distance is not a concern. But human as we are, and especially amongst us Filipino, we're actually more on the touchy people. Like
Mm-mm.
you need to be able to pat the shoulder of a friend.
Yes.
Yeah. Claps together. So these are
Mm-mm.
actually things which are missing. Personally for me, I'm not the type of person who would want to be like who would like to mingle with a lot of people. But now that I have been working from home for more than 2 months, and I only get to mingle with my family, and most of the time I
Mm-mm.
stay inside my room, it was a struggle, and at the same time, because I really just wanted to be in the office. Home for me has always been my sanctuary. Like it's like the space where I can just be like not really bothered with everything. But home, my room now has also become my office space. To
Yes.
the point that I've already somehow how do we call that one? Yeah, copied my table in the office. The only thing missing in my table here now at home, which you can find in my table in the office, is my steel tape because I measure a lot of things. So I have a steel tape in the office, and then that's one. And I miss the engagement in the people in the office
Mm-mm.
because like if I have a concern, I say it out loud so everyone in the office would know, and they would also be able to help me on my concern. But now that I'm working from home, even if I have concerns, I tell it to my family, they would not be able to help me address those concerns because those are work concerns. So yeah, those are the things that I miss. I also miss hearing even just the noise of the students. Like before, you'd say, why are the students so noisy? But now you miss hearing the noise of the students passing by the office, or before, when I'm having such a lousy day, I don't like it getting bumped by students around the hallway. But now I sort of miss that bump.
Yeah,
When students are
exactly.
rushing and they would bump on
Uh-uh.
you, and yeah. So yeah, these are things which before I would say that we took for granted, and now that we
Exactly.
are more or less living in isolation, are things that we are missing.
True, exactly. I myself miss saying good morning, mom. Good morning, sir. I miss seeing a lot. I miss seeing a lot of people. And IAT being so big, like there's always a chance to meet new people. So I'm like that is kind of like one of the experiences that I'm so sad that I missed because it's if when you tell the story on a different time and say how was your college, and I was like, oh, I was facing my computer, so it's kind of not like the same experience. Anything to add on, Sir Adin?
Yes, I think as a student, the only thing that I really miss
Mm-mm.
are post exam celebrations. I think we all have
Exactly.
that, right? After
Yes.
exams, you go with our friends,
Mm-mm.
discuss the answers, and we're like, yeah, that's the
Mm-mm.
answer. I
And then
mean,
stress ourselves
yeah,
out.
we stress ourselves out. Then after we know the real answer, contrary to your answer, what you have answered during the exam, we go to either G7 to play computer games or hang out
Yes.
in milk tea shops or
Yeah.
anywhere to stress ourselves out. Go to Boulevard to see the view, to eat food, nothing else. These
Exactly,
are good
go.
things. These are
Yeah.
culture that we miss, student culture that we miss dearly, especially during this time.
I think that the Boulevard thing is what they miss the most. The eating, the view. I think they really miss that above all things. So, now that we are faced with these new modalities, as you have mentioned, we have already shifted to a new paradigm of learning. We have already established that we are going to do online classes. How did, especially this is the administrators, how did you came up with this decision of going into this kind of learning and shifting it? Like, I'm sure there are a lot of struggles with that. And uh, um, how did you come up with the flow of the academic year for this school year?
Because I have City, my backup. So I really do not have any struggle. But, ano naman yung ginawa ko? PLDT is very clear to me. These are the things
What
that
is
I
it,
have
ma'am?
to accept. What do you mean when I say PLDT?
Mm.
P stands for pandemic. So it's not me alone. So it's worldwide. L stands for there are many lessons to be learned and we only need to reflect. You only need to reflect on it and then certainly you will miss as soon as this pandemic is gone. Letter D, it's divine will. So it's beyond our control. There's somebody who is actually in control. And T stands for this is temporary. Relax. Because very soon, this will, what they call this one, this pandemic, you will miss again. I mean, sooner or later, you will also miss this pandemic. Now, another thing is, uh, I have accepted that so-called PLDT, but I have to act also. Acceptance, then I have to act. That's why there's globe. So what's globe? Globe meaning G stands for I have goals. We have roadmaps. Is it not that the institute is actually establishing all this? We have guidelines, so it's structured. So, nakaset siya from the enrollment to the online classes, then you have the monitoring, then you have the completion, then the evaluation. So, relax kasi may goal eh. Meron kang patutunguhan, may direction. L stands for limits are defined. There are a lot of challenges. Pero naka-define siya. May limitation din yan. O stands for open to change. New norms. So we have to be innovative, right? And B stands for bend without breaking. Meaning to say, let's be flexible. Huwag mong kontrahin. Kasi ikaw ang magbabreak ang leg niyan. So you have to bend without breaking a leg. Then E stands for what? Essentials. Focus on the essential. Prioritize. As your dean, what is my priority? It's your health, it's your life. So that is my guiding acronym for the so-called what am I supposed to do after accepting all those PLDT, then I have to act. So there is this guidance I call GLOBE. So meaning to say I have to be smart. So you have already your PLDT, then you have already your GLOBE, and I have also my SMART. When you say SMART, you have to be stress-free. That's for S. Then, mobile. Kinakailangan on the go. A stands for, you have to be active, alert. Nako, hindi lang sa health protocols, lahat-lahat. Then, R stands for a while, you relax, you rest. Then you go some recreation. Kahit na hindi naman yung usual na ginagawa, pero at least some space where you can actually breathe, or you retreat, because that's also very important. That's for R. And for letter T, this is very important because it is you and I go together, meaning T stands for together. It's a team playing. I cannot do this alone. You cannot also do it alone. So, let's do it together. So, may PLDT na ako, may GLOBE pa, may SMART pa. Kompleto na. So, beat COVID. Ready for the online learning. Walang stress.
Perfect. Those acronyms had so much negative connotation already. If you say PLDT, Smart, and Globe, you're like, oh my God, what is this? Ito na naman tayo sa PLDT, Globe, and Smart na sabi nila the fastest connection in the Philippines. Hindi, walang nangyayaring fastest community. So it is very amazing to hear this kind of acronym from you firsthand, ma'am. So now that we know how to deal with this pandemic, Ma'am Sittie, I'm sure that you had inputs on the academic flow of this year. Could you enlighten us with that?
When IIT decided to end the semester very very early on, IIT also started talking about how to continue with the school, no? It was sometime around April, I think, Ma'am Rohane, right? That an academic chat group was created on Facebook. I mean, I stopped using Facebook and Messenger, and then all of a sudden I found myself now being very active on Messenger because everyone was using Messenger. So you had an academic chat group of all the deans and directors of heads of offices of academic units, and that's where the discussion on how to proceed with the classes would go on, what to do, what about the grading system and all. Incidentally, because I'm also doing my PhD now, and my final paper was writing an organizational diagnosis of my organization. I found that IIT was already ready for this kind of modality. We started with this kind of modality, online and distance learning, as early as 2000. No? And it was already in place in 2010. There were already BOR resolutions. It has been approved by the board that IIT can go into online modality, that IIT can do distance learning, and the MSU IIT online learning environment has been there since 2000. And when it first started, I was one of Ma'am Rohane was also part of it. We were one of the few people who got trained with Mole. And then later, after Mole, when there was the shift to Google Classroom, because IIT also signed up for Google Education, I was also one of the test cases. They would monitor how I'm using my Google Education, my Google Classroom, my Gmail, and all. I would say that from a very long time, IIT's decision to invest on online modality is something that's actually very much looking forward into the future. So when there was the decision to shift to online modality, more or less it was already easy for IIT because the equipment needed, the facilities needed, the platform needed is already there. Everything is ready. We just needed to train people and convince people for a change of mind shift from the traditional face-to-face and going to online. So it was easy to sway. And I am very, very appreciative of the CAS faculty because when we announced that we are going to be doing the webinar, okay, the massive webinar for Inflex for the whole month of June, CAS faculty really signed up. I am very happy to report that practically the attendance of the CAS faculty is always at 90%. So nobody would be absent during the entire Wednesdays of June. And then those people who would be absent would even ask other people. And everyone was sharing on how to go about it and so on and so forth. And then when classes started in September, and then Ma'am Rohane said that we go and talk to the faculty and ask them how they are, just like how it was in the traditional way that on the first day or the first week of the semester, faculty member would drop by the office and ask, I cannot find my classroom. Where is it? My classroom is TBA. Please help me look for a classroom. So now they have other concerns. Concerns such as, I cannot send an SMS blast to my student because the SMS blast is not working. I cannot find my Molly classroom. I do not know how to put an enrollment key. We came up with this Chica for CAS or Chica with CAS. So it was just a messenger. I created a messenger room, and anyone who would like to come in can come in the messenger room and simply open their questions. And then after that one, we also opened the CAS helpline for all faculty members of CAS. And everyone there has been helping one another. Like if somebody posts there a concern, you would see 2, 3 people responding to the concern. If somebody cracks a joke, and you would then also see 2 people replying to the joke. Like I remember that, Dwayne, this is in your class. After I uploaded the video, a student messaged me and asked if the student can be given a copy of the Word file that I read during the lecture. And I was like, what is the student asking me? I'm the one who discussed, and I'm also expected to write the notes or make the notes for the student. So I
Seriously,
opened
what?
that in the helpline and I said, okay, so how do you respond to a student who would ask you simply for a Word file of your lecture or a PDF file? And then Sir Herman replied na, PDF ma'am would stand for pag sure diha friend. So yeah,
Perfect.
and then people then started also sharing their funny stories with this online modality. So somehow, as what Ma'am Rohani said, we have to be stress free, and that small engagement is this us making it somehow stress free. And other faculty would even said, oh, maybe we should also share our behind the scenes clip while they're doing their
Yeah,
video,
yes,
and
yes.
people started sharing. And then people also started sharing their new office space, like, okay, this is my office space now. And yeah, I would say that, yeah, we're getting there. So now that the first semester is almost in the middle part,
Mm-mm.
the question of whether this will continue for the next semester, I think yes, 90% we are still going to have the same setup and modality for next
Yes,
semester. And
exactly.
by then people would have adjusted very well to this
Mm-mm.
situation.
I'm sure that a lot of even the students would be happy to see those behind the scene clips. Though I'm sure it is confidential, but we would love to see that. It's good to know that it's not just us who is stressed. That you're also humans. You're also adjusting to this. So it's very humbling to know this kind of info this first hand information from the faculty themselves. Gov Adin, how has it been being a CAS governor in this time?
Well, nothing is a challenge. Governor or not, we are students. Still, we have the
Mm-mm.
responsibility of being student. And even if I'm not the governor, it's still a struggle because with the adaptation of the online platform and whatnot. So what did we do, especially with myself? I started with myself, reorienting myself
Mm-mm.
because there is no rule book or guidelines for shifting models of government or organizations to the online platform, right? Uh,
Exactly.
it was all new to us, especially with the admin and definitely with Kasama and its part, the CAS EC. Then we started with the restructuring of the organization only to function as a skeletal workforce. So as of now, we are only manning the CAS-EC as elected officers. There are only 10 of us as of now. So we are
Mhm.
doing our part to function with the needs and being responsive to the concerned students as partners of the institute regarding matters of student concerns. So
Mm-mm.
we are making progress with Kasama regarding future plans. And it's a struggle every day with multi-organizational partnerships during this time because um, it's a struggle because you have to do this, to do that, and it's quite difficult with the online platform. Everything before the online platform, it was already difficult. During the online
Yes,
platform, it exacerbated it to the point that we're very stressed out. So in
exactly.
terms of the implementation of projects, consolidation of available resources, these are very difficult things to do during this time. And we are still maneuvering through the crisis. Every day we are learning, and every day we have something to take away. Now, the greatest question I think we should answer, especially as an organization, is where best do we help or serve our students during this time?
Mhm.
And this can be applied either as an organization or as an individual. As a student, where can we best help our students? And I think some of us have already done that, and some are still trying, but it's our duty every day to take one step at a time. We
Mm-mm.
must keep moving forward every day, even if the future is uncertain.
Well, that's certainly good to know because I'm sure that there are a lot of questions regarding this, how the organizations are going to function, how the student leaders are going to respond to this as being the voice of the students themselves. Now that despite all of this, you've already, I think you kind of answered this question already, but I'm sure that you still had more to add because there are a lot of students that has a moment where they said this is not going to work.
You seem to be needing some sort of an inspiration, something like what will motivate you. In my case, as dean, what is motivating me? Well, CAS is, remember, if not the most outstanding college of the campus, then wala na. Of course,
Mm-mm.
ano to? Uh, we have a lot of standards
Yes.
and to maintain, and the our goals are actually already laid down. So, sabi ko nga, kahit na, even if there is this, what we call as pandemic, then since goals are set, then we have to, what they call this one, do something and go with the so-called uh, the goal that we really want to uh, achieve, even in this so-called school year 2021. So we have to maintain curriculum instruction, research involvement, research, etc., etc. So, challenge. Pero the goal itself is already a motivating factor. So, yes. And then look, every time I think of the students na that is the pinaka-ultimate thing that is actually inspiring and giving us motivation. So, if you're struggling, the more na nagsa-struggle din ng mga faculty as well as the administrator. But I keep on saying, along with, as I've said, the PLDT, the Globe, and the Smart, sasabihin ko, my last message to you is, smile. You keep on smiling because sun will shine soon.
Yes.
So, ayun na naman, no?
Mm.
Ang hirap,
Mm,
no?
exactly.
Smile. Sun will shine
Mm-hmm.
soon. Let us just be positive. Huwag lang maging COVID
Yes, the
positive.
same goes to you, ma'am.
So, keep safe. Amping always.
Thank you so much. That was very heartwarming. That was very touching. Ma'am City?
I would say that you have to find your drive. what pushes you. Because if you do not have the drive, then things are going to is going to be hard, because you might feel yourself like just simply going with the flow, and eventually you wake up and realizing that you don't want to be where you are currently at, and there's nobody to blame there but yourself. I would also say that it's okay if you get tired. It's okay if there comes a point in time that you simply want to disconnect from everyone, and that's fine. Take the time to pause. And self care for me is very, very important. Now more than ever, I've realized how much self care is very important. So, like, if for instance, at this given point in time, we do not feel like engaging with people, if they ask you something and you do not feel like responding, then you just simply tell them that, can I get back to you later because I'm doing something else. And Because we are Filipinos, and we feel that we always have to explain when we say no to someone.
Yes,
Yeah. So
exactly.
I mean,
Mm-mm.
sometimes even explaining what you are feeling is quite hard. So
Mm-hmm.
please, you don't have to explain yourself. So, like for example, if you're not really feeling okay and you don't want to engage with people, you simply tell them, "I'm busy with something else." You don't have to explain. I mean, that's my take there. Um,
Mm-mm.
and it depends. I would say that having a schedule also works and helps. Like, for example, you say that from this time to this time is going to be the only time that you are going to be online, and that actually helps. In my case, it helps, no? Like when I wake up in the morning at 8 a.m. or 8:30 a.m., I log on to Messenger, because Messenger now is the new office. And sometimes when I'm so tired, I would just like be counting the hours and said, when is 5 p.m. going to arrive? Because at 5 p.m., I can then officially log out of Messenger. And if ever people would message me, it's okay if I don't reply because it's already past 5 p.m. Office hours are already closed. So, yeah, that's it. It helps. For me, you take care of yourself, listen to
Mm-mm.
yourself, and you have to learn how to pay attention to how you are feeling. Um, if ever you are feeling not okay, then you tell yourself that you're not okay. As what John Green said, feelings demand to be felt, Yeah. So you feel your feelings, whatever those feelings are. Do not be afraid to make do not be afraid to feel your feelings. That's what I want to say basically.
Yeah. Gov Adid, anything to say? Especially since I know that a lot of people want to hear something from you.
So to students, I encourage you to plant
Mm.
because well, there are a lot of benefits of planting. First, you provide food, which ensures food security not just for your family but for your community. And secondly, it teaches you a lot of things. For instance, it teaches you to understand plants. Though they don't talk, they don't have much feedback, but it gives you the ability to understand the plant, and it teaches you patience, commitment, proper monitoring, and proper understanding. Plant. I also
Mm-mm.
agree with Ma'am Rohane and Ma'am Sittie. You must find inspiration, and from now and then, take a break. Find new endeavors that excite you. Either you want to be a better citizen for yourself, for your country, or for your fellow man. It's all yourself. It's all for yourself. Just know when to take a break,
Mm-mm.
because some of us doesn't know where our breaking point is. Like, we always try to abuse ourselves with work, with academics, and sometimes it's not healthy anymore.
Mm-mm.
No one was completely prepared for the unprecedented scale of this crisis that has brought to us, right? And it's
Yes.
our duty and our moral responsibility to protect one another and to continue the struggle that we face every day. And as always, you must believe in ourselves and believe in others,
Mm-mm.
right? Yon, we must believe in ourselves and we must believe in others.
Mm-mm.
Because there is no stronger bond than a community driven by love, commitment, and hope. There are
Mm-mm.
dark days, but there will be darker days ahead. And it gives us strength
Mm-mm.
that we face these odds, these challenges with an open heart, with open mind, and support from one another. And I
Mm-mm.
just want to add that we shall continue to accept this struggle, but in the end, must remain hopeful because together we will rise and we will rise one step at a time. We must keep moving forward. Yun lang.
Mm-mm. Thank you so much. So basically, let's plant.
Yes, plant.
Maging plantitos and plantitas tayo this pandemic. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence, Ma'am Rohane, Ma'am Sittie, Gov Adin. This is very enlightening to us. It's very heartwarming to see that at the end of the day, the teachers and the students are not enemies. We're all friends. We're all allies, and teachers are humans too. So
I do not know because Mom Rohani and I were also students before, and I think this is one thing that I find myself lucky in. Like when was it? I think about a week ago, we were discussing with how MHYIT's connection would have to be secured because of
mm,
our online modality, how we have to buy a new server, get new generators. And I was saying, like, the students now are only paying 100 pesos per unit. Isn't it about time that it has to be increased? I mean, you're not paying because CHED is paying for it. And this free tuition fee now is good for 5 years. So
mm,
universities are not allowed to increase their tuition fee. And here I am, as early as now, I'm already lobbying that we have to increase our tuition fee. And I said, like, looking back when I was a student, I went out and complained, like, giwelgahan nako ang 100 pesos na internet fee. But now that I am a faculty, I realized how how much we need in order to come up with this setup. Like we're paying Google now because our free use of Google Education has already lapsed. So we're paying for 1,000 accounts of Google, and students are not using it. I
mm,
mean, IIT is paying for the accounts of faculty and staff, and then the students' use of Google is already free. But students are not using it, and yet IIT is paying millions for it. So I'm now also promoting, guys, please use your Google Education account. Okay, the
that's
fact that the fact that you get to like you have unlimited Google Drive access, and then there are a lot of freebies with certain platforms like Canva would give
mm,
you Canva Pro with no fee rather, as long as you use Google. You get discounts on Spotify, you get discounts on YouTube Premium. You can also I mean, there are a lot of things that you could make use with your Google Education. So please use your Google Education so that we can utilize it better, and we're not wasting this much money. We are in it for you. That's what I have said. Students and teachers are not actually just enemies. You just have to
mm,
like try to shift. You try to see
mm,
it from the perspective of the teacher, and then teachers I believe, no, especially teachers from CAS, would always try to see it from the perspective of the students. Just like how our parents are sometimes, they impose something, they ask you something without really understanding why they're asking it. But at the
mm,
end of the day, it's for your own good. It's actually for your
mm.
own good. So I do not know where that mindset or thought is coming from, that teachers and students are enemies. I have been bashed a number of times on social media. I know that, but I have never seen the students to be enemies. I remember one student who has been very, very vocal in bashing me, and then eventually that student also messaged me and asking for help. And I also help the student because I do not see the student as an enemy.
To be honest, ma'am, we really had those uh, thinking that ay uy, si ma'am uy, gusto na gini siya pahirapan mi ay. But I'm sure that that's not the case. That's just the thinking. So, guys, use Google kasi ang dami nating free. Marami tayong freebies sa Google. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. Thank you for giving allotting a time from your busy schedule to grace us and to educate us. So thank you so much, ma'am. Guys, I hope that you had a amazing time with this episode. I hope that it was informative to you as it was to me. Thank you so much and tune in for the next episode. Bye.